there. I haven't done a video for a while actually, or had much YouTube presence going on, and I don't really know why. I just didn't really feel guided to do anything. I've also been going through quite a lot of changes, not really just within myself, but in the things that I feel guided to do, the way that I want to do them, and I'm going to talk about that more in another video because I don't really want to talk about it too much in this one. But something that I have been going through a lot, and this is probably for the past year and a half, is I've been going through a lot of phases of, I feel like the lip sync in my video isn't really tying up, so I'm sorry if it doesn't. I've been going through a lot of periods of feeling really void. And when I say void, just not the normal void. I felt completely kind of hopeless. It's like I can go from a feeling of joy and real, lots of excitement about things to complete loss of passion, joylessness, this really overwhelming feeling of like, how can I ever find joy again? How can I ever find passion again? Like, how will I ever find anything interesting again? Like, you could literally say to me in those periods, like, what is it you dream of more than anything? And we'll sort it out for you tomorrow. And you can go, like, a holiday here, and this. And I'd just be like, can't be bothered. Like, it was a really, a feeling of, not that I hadn't found my passion, just like there was nothing I could feel passionate about. And I realised, intuitively it came to me that basically I'd been seeing through what I term as a spiritual ego quite a lot over the last year. So I feel like when I started my awakening journey, I threw myself wholeheartedly into the spiritual world, and then after a few years of doing that and really having a go at that and embracing absolutely everything spiritual, like healing modality, talking to this person, that person, being a tarot reader, being a Reiki master, I was trained as a yoga teacher, I trained as a lot of things, but also did a lot of things. I mean, I can't even really list all the modalities and the things that I tried and the places that I went, to kind of be spiritual and to awaken. And then really over the past year, I've really, really come to a deeper understanding of myself, that a lot of those things that I was doing, although they were spiritual, they were still pacifying me, and kind of I still wasn't finding the joy from within like I thought I was, because they sounded like better things. I'd stripped away from my life things that I considered to be like egoic or 3D or any of these kind of things. So I kind of thought I was finding the joy within, but then I came to a further understanding that I really wasn't finding the joy within. I was actually still finding the joy externally by, going to a healing class or watching something spiritual on YouTube, or trying to meditate or go to a meditation class, or, the list is endless, or even of, eating right. And I'm not saying these things are wrong or not to be done, but I was still kind of distracting myself with these things and thinking that I wasn't. And I like to call it the spiritual ego, I suppose, because it's the place that you're still in your ego and you're still looking outside of yourself, but because it's spiritual, you think that it's a step forwards. And it is a step forwards because, before, the things that I was doing were not taking me closer. At least the spiritual ego, I feel, is a phase where you're starting to discover about yourself, but I still feel it was like a distraction from really finding joy within, even looking for a spiritual partner, my twin flame. Not that there's anything wrong with that, because I think finding your twin flame and ascension is hand in hand, it's the same thing, but I was definitely constantly searching outside of myself whilst thinking that I was looking within. And so I feel like the void feeling is because I've seen through so many veils and so many layers that I was really left having to just find it within. And periodically it would leave me with a real feeling of hopelessness, a void, because it's just not something that I was used to. I was used to masking it out with some spiritual stuff, I guess, rather than really just being. And there's this quote from The Power of Now, which I'm going to read because it explains it better than I ever can. I have all these realizations and I really try to share them, but I'm not always the best at trying to communicate what I mean. But as soon as I read this, I thought this is exactly what I was thinking and feeling. So I'm just going to read it out. Joy is uncaused and arises from within as the joy of being. It is an essential part of the inner state of peace, the state that has been called the peace of God. It is your natural state, not something you need to work hard for or struggle to attain. Many people never realise that there can be no salvation in anything they do, possess or attain. Those who do realise it often become world-weary and depressed. If nothing can give you true fulfilment, what is there left to strive for? What is the point in anything? The Old Testament prophet must have arrived at such a realisation when he wrote, "I have seen everything that is done under the sun, and behold, all is vanity and striving after wind." When you reach this point, you are one step away from despair and one step away from enlightenment. That is exactly how I've been feeling lately. So I've let go of all attachment pretty much to everything. And it's kind of, and I've seen through everything now. Well, not everything, you know, it's a constant journey, but I've seen through so much that I'm kind of left with this feeling of what's the point anymore? Like, what's the point in anything? And I've definitely been left with those kind of feelings. And that as well about the no salvation. I think I was constantly looking for salvation outside of myself, like somebody to save me, or I could save somebody else. Like, you know, maybe if this person heals me, or I go and have some sessions with this person, like I'll be enlightened, or you know, someone can align my chakras, or someone can do this. And I was looking for my salvation externally, really, even though I thought it was internal. I feel like there's a period where you really think you're internal, but you're not. And I think that was the realisation, the real realisation that there's nobody out there to save me from anything. Like, I just am, and I'm just, you know, everything is here. And it definitely gave me that feeling of like, just what's the point in anything? Like, you know, I felt like in those phases, if like a massive £2 million job had have rolled in, I'd have just been like, oh, okay, whatever. Or I'd have met some amazing person and just be like, oh yeah, whatever. Like, would you like to go to this holiday and live on the Caribbean and just do what you love? And I'd just be like, it was literally like not finding a purpose in anything anymore, or a passion in anything anymore. And it's exactly as that paragraph describes. And obviously for a bit I thought I might just, you know, going backwards. Of course you can't go backwards, but then I really intuitively felt everything that that paragraph stated, but I can't express as well as that paragraph states. I felt intuitively that I was releasing so much attachment to stuff and trying to be saved from things and trying to find the answer, that, you know, it was a whole new process of having to find the joy from literally just being. And I'm still working on that now. And that's really where I've been at. And I feel a lot of non-triggering now. Like, I don't really get triggered so easily. I mean, sure, maybe in the moment, but it doesn't really last anymore. Doesn't like linger on for the next 2 days of, oh, you know, thinking about it. It's just, I'm just like, oh, great. That was an experience where I got to see a bit more of myself. And, yeah, I feel things just pass through really quickly now. And they're not a massive trigger. Like, you might just respond in a certain way, but I don't feel like I go away and think about them or linger on them or anything like that. The last few days I've been feeling a lot of nostalgia come up, actually, in a lot of the past. And I feel like a lot of that is to do with me having to embrace it and have gratitude for it, for my journey, so that I can move forwards. I'm going to do another video on that because I don't want to cover too many multiple topics in the same one. So I'm going to leave this one as it is. And run another one. So I'll see you in a bit.